Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the AS02 from ARES. It is a sniper rifle, a short sniper rifle. It's part of their AMOEBA range and it's called the Striker. It's not a new rifle, it's been around since the beginning of the year. It's been a few videos, but I thought we'd give our take on it. Remember guys, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and if you enjoy the content, remember to subscribe. We try and post every week, so stay tuned, and without further ado, we're going to get on with it. So, like I said, we're looking at the AS02, and here is the box. So it's a nice big printed box, as you can see. I think that's the right way up. Yeah, it is. It's the right way up. And then if you flip it round, you can see some instructions on the back. And in the corner here, you can see I got it from our friends at Staffordshire Military. So, let's open the box up. Now, I'm not going to do a box review because that's silly, because it's a box. But inside, this is the packaging. You may notice the gun is not in there. It comes in a plastic bag. We don't want to look at that. You have one of these big, long, old-fashioned speed loaders, but we don't want to use that. We have a cleaning and jamming rod, which are always useful. I've got a bit of a collection of these, but they are useful, to be fair. We get a little bit of paperwork, and we get a quality certificate that shows you the joules when it was tested in the factory. But this doesn't necessarily mean much, because this particular one, when it was tested in the factory, was done with a light Japanese spring, which meant it was only probably putting about 280 FPS. It has since had the stiffer springs put in there, so it's actually producing a bit more. We'll talk about that in a minute. So we'll have a look at the gun. So here is the gun itself, and as you can see, I got the black version of it, and it's short and it's stubby. So it's classed as a sniper rifle, comes scout rifle, that kind of thing. Now, although that is the case, and it's got a fairly short barrel, the inner barrel's around 310 millimeters. It's a lot shorter than most sniper rifles, but it is still a bolt action rifle, and which is the preferred sort of platform for a sniper rifle. The reason it wasn't in the box is because I got this scope on. Now, this scope does not come with this gun, but I wanted to put it on because, one, for the shooting test, I was using it, and secondly, it gives you an idea of what it will look like with a scope. And let's be honest, most of these guns will be used with a scope of some kind. So that's what I've got at the moment. First impressions, when it came out of the box, it's a really nice feeling, textured plastic polymer, whether it is real polymer or not, but it's certainly a nice feeling sort of polymer style plastic. It feels really good. It's got a nice round bolt handle on it. It feels really solid, feels good quality, and it feels, you know, a solid gun. It feels really good. Features about this that I really like is, to start with, it's got a top dead center hop up. So a hop up is actually in here. It's a small grub screw. You can buy adjusters for it with a little knurled wheel on there to make it a little bit easier, which may be a good idea in the future. It's got a plastic polymer magazine. They're pretty tough. They feel solid. It's got a nice fitment in there. Goes in nice and solid, no wiggling, no moving around. As we move from the back, we've got this shoulder stabilizing thing that's a bit awkward to pull out. In fact, it's actually a bit tight on this one. It's basically a plate that sticks out the back here, and you can rest it on your shoulder. Personally, I don't think I'll use that. There's not much point for it for me, really. The sling mount on the back here, it's got a nice big solid aluminium sling mount. You can change the sides of it. If you want it this side or that side, you can move it around, just take the bolts out. As you move forwards, you've got a little cap here on the handguard that you can pull out, and it has the Allen keys inside. Those are the Allen keys you need to do a takedown or to adjust the hop. We put that back on there. It's actually got a polymer trigger. I'm not too sure about that. It's got a safety built into the trigger, so you pull it back, and as you can see, if you look on the camera, it sort of rocks backwards and forwards before it takes a full stroke of the trigger. It feels okay when the gun's cocked. There's no wobble in it, no flex in it. It feels fairly robust, but it'd be nice to have an aluminium sort of blade trigger or something like that. Again, it is an upgrade you can get. One feature of this gun that everybody has to know about really is the cocking indicator here. So when you pull the cocking handle back, you get a little indicator pop out with a red mark. Now these are notoriously unreliable. There's nothing in this. I'll take the magazine out. Now these are notoriously unreliable. They have a habit of getting caught up in the cylinder and either jamming it up or snapping off. So that's something to think about. You can actually modify them to make sure that doesn't happen, but it's certainly something worth thinking about. It's got a nice fluted barrel, nice solid top rail. Some of the aluminium castings a little bit on the rough side, but that doesn't particularly bother me at all. The trigger guard's all polymer, and it's got an ambidextrous trigger release, magazine release as well. So you can actually press it with your finger. You can use the AK style type as well. We can do it from this side. So those are sort of the aesthetics of it. And oh, I should mention as well, it's got an M-lock rail at the front here, on the underneath and both sides. The gun itself is actually very light, which is quite nice, and that's one thing I like about it. It's lightweight, so you can sort of put all of the accessories you want to put on it, and it'll be nice and short and easy to get through bushes, through undergrowth, things like that when you're out doing a sniper role. Also, you can throw it into a backpack, so if you're at a mil sim and you want to carry sort of a primary sort of M4 style rifle, and you could stick this in a backpack or on a sling on your back, it's very easy to carry. So all good so far. Now, when I got this out of the box, I chronoed it, and it's chronoing at 419 feet per second or 420. It's very consistent. So I was really impressed with the fact that it was so consistent. So it's not quite as high as, say, my other sniper rifle that fires at 490, but it's a good starting point. These things are incredibly modular though. They are made to be messed with, upgraded and customized. There are so many things that ARES have released for this gun to allow you to change it and make it look the way you want it, from long M-lock handguards to adjustable stocks, different pieces, different bolt handles. You can get a stainless steel cylinder, lots of different parts for it. And that really, oh, and not to forget giant flash hiders. And it really lets you customize the gun and make it what you want. But really, for me, it comes down to how it performs. Now, I've got a video that I'll show you of the shooting test that I did. This shooting test was at 20 meters, so not a massive range for a sniper rifle, but quite a short range for a sniper rifle. But it gives you a little idea of consistency, because I can't get much more than 20 meters on day to day. So, but it gives you an idea of consistency and how it followed each shot up. And in standard form, it wasn't too bad. I actually used 0.3 BBs. I found the 0.4s were a little bit too heavy for it. They weren't really lifting that well off the hop. So for 0.3s, you probably need a better hop bucking, and sorry, for 0.4s, you'll probably need a better hop bucking and a little bit more FPS. But certainly 0.3s to 3.6s, I'd say, would be perfect for it. So how does it feel to handle? Well, it feels light, it feels quite balanced. One thing I will say is when you've got the scope up to your eye, it can be tricky to get your head in the right place to get a good view through the scope. And the only reason to say that is that I'm really tall, so although I'm freakishly tall, the stock isn't quite long enough for me. It's a little bit short, so I tend to have to get it up to my face, but then I have to sort of move my head forward, which I prefer not to do. I like to have my face sort of on the cheek rest. Now I could bring the scope back a little bit, but then it can be difficult to set up properly. I feel a little bit cramped. The one thing you can get is an extender for the stock, and that'll make it a lot easier. You can get a more natural position, and then you can set your scope up where you need it. So this scope really needs to move back, but then if it does, then I need a little bit longer stock, and that comes fine real still. So that's what I feel. Now, other than that, I love the feel of it. It feels great. It feels consistent when you shoot. It feels nice. But anyone who knows me knows I can't leave these things alone. So is this a skirmishable sniper rifle straight out of the box? From what I've seen so far, just shooting in the garden and getting a range test, yeah, it is. It feels really good and it seems really consistent. I wouldn't be worried about taking this to a skirmish as it is and using it for a day. I have heard some horror stories about the bolt becoming loose on the back of the cylinder and people having to change out the cylinders. Well, if you upgrade it, you're going to do that anyway. It's certainly something I'll do. And that's when you get to lift the FPS a little bit and you start to upgrade. You can upgrade the hop unit for various different bits and pieces. So there's lots and lots to do with this gun that I'm going to upgrade it and get it up to the standard that I want it. But as it is, I'd be actually quite happy to use it. And you could carry it, you know, and have some fun with it all day long without an issue. So fair play, ARES. I think you've got something really good. And that shows in the popularity of these guns because they have been selling well. I mean, everyone I speak to says they like, you know, people who like the AS02 and it's really popular. And the AS01 was popular. One thing to think about this though, over the AS01, this has got the shorter barrel, so it's got less problems with cylinder volume because they are a short pull bolt, so it hasn't got the same cylinder volume as something like a VSR10. But that said, we'll see how it goes. So that's it guys for that little unboxing and first impressions. Obviously there'll be more to come in the future. I'm going to upgrade that gun and really go to town and see what we can actually do with it. Stay tuned because there will be another video coming up soon of the Novridge SSX 23. That's going to be a really interesting one. I'm quite excited to get that gun. It's currently in Germany, winding its way to us. And that is me getting confused. So, leave that bit in. So, if you like the videos, remember, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, else we will come around to your house. And stay tuned.